What is up, my Funsie folks? Welcome into the Funsie podcast. You may be asking yourself, who is this bald, handsome nerd that is introducing the podcast?
I find myself asking that every day.
Yeah, same deal. Same deal. I just look into the mirror when I wake up. Just Nathan. Just Nathan. Yeah, nothing. No creative answer there. But I am joined by two beautiful hosts. Lil Wayne almost said it best when he wrote and named the song "Ah Millie." It's just J Millie. There's no creative joke there. I'm sure there is, but I've got nothing.
J Millie. I didn't. Hey, good catch, Sajko. I like that. J Millie, J Millie, J Millie. Have you thought of that?
I don't even know that song.
No.
What?
No.
All right, we got you.
Do you know Lil Wayne at least?
Yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's a win on its own. And then we also are joined by the spooniest of pockets himself, Mr. Northeast Disc Golf Expo, Ben.
Yes.
What is up, lads?
We're doing well. Can't complain. Another funsy day.
Heck yeah. I mean, any news of in recent week or since we last hung out or anything?
I filmed a video last weekend playing a tournament with only a tilt. So that was
Oh, heck yeah.
I saw that teaser, so that's actually what it was.
Yep. And it was brutal.
Nice.
A rated round though?
Rated round. I beat some people in MA1.
It's amazing.
Tilt only. So that's
They just immediately got in their car and drove home.
Yeah. Dude, it was actually, so if you guys know Bear Bite, do you guys know Bear Bite?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so I threw like that the whole round, and low key it kind of smacks. You guys got to try it. If you have a tilt, get the thumber grip, and it's like a wide forehand on like a huge flex, and it low key smacks, and that's what I did the whole tournament.
Like upside down?
Upside down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't do that. Like thumbers are not my jam. Like tomahawks all day, but yeah, for some reason thumbers I can't do.
I had the same issue, but I don't know. I found my groove. I kind of had to for the video, so
We're gonna make it happen sometime in the future.
Yeah. The video hasn't come out yet, but it will come out soon.
Way to
Nice.
sacrifice for the content. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Your rating for the content.
I did not shoot close to my rating, but I have another tournament this weekend and then one at the end of May, so I should be able to figure it out, hopefully, because I bumped up. I'm 963 rated.
I know
now,
you're
so.
nasty. What the
Yeah,
heck?
boy.
I bumped down. I'm 930. Ew.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm slumping. I'm slumping hard, which tune into the staggered stance tonight, or I guess it was yesterday at 7. If you wanna hear Evan boast about beating me. So
Nice. All right. We appreciate you guys joining us. This is our second episode. Thank you if you checked out the first one, and if you're joining us now, welcome. It's kind of like in grade school. I don't know if you guys had this, where it'd be first is the worst, second is the best. So some may call this the best episode yet. And if by some people, I mean probably my mother, but it still counts.
yeah, shout out Mama Sack.
Oh, absolutely. I also appreciate you called her Mama Sack because it's like become a thing all on its own. I think like my friends and I started that, and you know, like that's like the standard. My friends call her that. Her hairdresser calls her that. Her friends call her that. It's just taken over, man.
That's awesome. I did not know that. I just have a knack for nicknames. I mean, I both of you I only call by nicknames. I didn't come up with J Millie's, obviously, but
my nickname for Ben is Care Bear. Wait, no, Pookie Bear.
No, you're Care Bear.
Pookie Bear?
I'm Care Bear. He's Pookie Bear.
Oh, definitely changing contact info for that for sure.
Nah, you'll see. It's in the video.
It's amazing.
Anyways, quick shout. I just want to give a quick shout out. Shout out my sponsor, Hooligan Discs. They're incredible. They just came out with the vibe and some Metal Flake vibes, and they got some very exciting stuff coming up. They have a new manufacturer, no longer with Lone Star, and it's a very exciting time to be a hooligan and part of the hooligan. If you want 10% off the entire store, just use code BEN10. And yeah, and I think don't get me, I don't know if I'm able to say this, but I think the Thread is going to be the next disc that's released with their new manufacturer. So it's going to be incredible. And I have a Proto Cash. That's incredible. I just can't wait. I'm excited for Hooligan Discs.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous.
Nice.
I just lost my cash at Maple Hill.
Oh, dude, the Proto, it's
like the one that you
so
gave
nice.
me.
Yeah. So that was the old plastic, but the new one is
I know.
it's like a stable dream. It's like a Berg, but like overstable.
Yeah.
All right, I got to shout out my sponsor as well, Armory Disc Golf. Go there. They got the J Millie goods. Use code J Millie and no 10 on the end, just J Millie, and you can get 10% off as well. And it's all retailers, all discs, anything you want. Just use code J Millie.
And does that support you? Because my code
It
just
does.
gets you a discount.
It does
Okay,
support
cool.
me.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
dude.
yeah, my code just supports me by showing Hooligan that you guys,
You're sick.
yeah, you guys care. So I don't get any commission. Anyways, on to the show.
Well, I've got a couple that I want to shout out.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So,
No, dog.
sorry.
Yeah. no, you're good. I appreciate Hooli as well. I'm also on the team.
Yes.
If you look over here, I've got my vibe up on the wall. 'Cause
And that's
Ben
the disc of the
suggested-
day.
Yeah, exactly. We got the
So
first run
that-
vibe up on the wall.
I love how
And
we
then I
already have like
also-
an inside podcast thing. Sacco's
Yeah, of
disc of
course.
the day.
I have a couple other ones that we'll touch on later in the episode of just things that maybe they could be week to week, but we'll see. And then I also wanted to shout out Disc Golf Bra because I do have a code, SAC15. Appreciate what that does for me. And then I really do owe a lot to Disc Golf Bra because they were the first people that actually took a chance on me, and I feel like just allowed me to start making content and just get my name out there a little bit. So thank you to them.
Yeah, shout out Disc Golf Bra. Sorry, Sack. I didn't want to.
Oh,
I
no, you're
forgot
good,
you were
man.
on Disc
You're
Golf
good.
Bra. I thought it was just Hooli. I forgot about that, but
No, it's all good. I'm just wearing a Carhartt shirt right now. Yeah, just an embarrassment. Okay,
no,
but
we're good.
let's how about we try to reflect on last week's episode?
Yeah.
At least for me, it was really cool to look back on. I did watch the entire YouTube and listen. So my wife automatically, as soon as it was on Spotify, ended up listening to it, and then like my father-in-law listened to it, my parents, and it is funny. I was met with a response where they're like, "Nathan, you didn't really end up talking too much. Were you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I was fine. I'm like, "What do you want from me?" They're like, "Oh, I just want you to show your beautiful personality." So here it is. We're leading the podcast, and this is for them, I suppose. Also, got comments from my mother-in-law that was talking about how small my hats are on my head, and I also got it on one of my YouTube videos, which I found hilarious. Look, I got a big head. I don't know what you guys want from me.
You do got a grande cabeza and it's bald, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, it's even better.
You know? It accentuates the largeness.
I will say I have noticed that as well, Nathan. I have noticed that your hat
dude.
is small on your head.
Way,
Dude,
I've
it is
never
like
noticed that. That's
it
hilarious.
is a statue. Like it is just a massive bust.
Yo,
We
But
all got
obviously-
the hats on, and
Obviously, those are like the joking answers. But of course, just met with a lot of very kind feedback. You know, it's not like at the end of the day, there's so many different podcasts or shows or things that people could be putting their time into or checking out, and they chose to check out the product that we made. So appreciate anyone that took the time to watch that. But
Yeah,
what about for you
definitely.
guys?
I feel like everyone, or if whoever listened, thanks for listening. If you're listening again, thanks for listening again. We really appreciate it. And it was really cool to get a bunch of comments that people were like, "We want to come on," or "This is sick. This is awesome that you guys are doing this." And something we've talked about a little bit, but I don't know if we mentioned it much last week, but I think the general idea is to have pros on, but to really focus on the disc golf content community and have people come on from different podcasts, different YouTube channels, whatever, and just talk about what it is like to make disc golf content. Because that really is the unique value that we bring to the table. The three of us is we all have YouTube channels. We all make content on Instagram, and I think it's really interesting to key in on that. And I think that's something that brings value to someone who might tune in, and it's Funsie.
Funsie.
There are pros are only one part of the overall disc golf equation, and it is of course interesting
sure.
to listen to those. But we kind of touched on it before we went live. There are a lot of roles that are necessary within the disc golf realm that probably don't get talked about enough. So if we can reach out to any of those people and talk to them, I think it just just as interesting as talking
Yeah,
to
like
whoever won.
like for example, like we had Joseph from another round, Nice Michael, Hannah Macbeth, all reaching out, which is incredible. Like we'll definitely have all of them
Completely.
on. But even like Ryan from Brixton Cards, not per se a content creator, but he makes, I guess, content in his own way through Brixton with these incredible cards. So like even having him on would just be super cool just to hear like how he got started, how he's making these cards and stuff like
Completely.
that, because it is an insane community. There's cards selling for like $200. Like you look up on eBay right now, Brixton cards, and he just it was all created from his mind. So yeah, I think just highlighting kind of walks of life in disc golf that maybe we don't hear from as much as we do, like the pros. But don't get us wrong, if we can get a pro on here, we'll get him on. It just won't be
I'm
so
sure
much
we'll make
like
it happen.
how was your win. It'd be more like how'd you do it, how did you get to where you were. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Even just
All
like
right,
Silas Schultz, like people. Sorry.
Yeah, totally.
Correct. Yeah, no, Silas is my buddy. He stayed over at my house for MVP. So yeah, that's actually a great idea. We're definitely gonna get him on. Just talk about his editing process. It's just insane. Like he's such a good kid. Good stick, that guy.
Completely. Yeah.
I was gonna say deep cut. If you're listening right now, and you're on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, go drop a comment of who we should have come on the pod and hang out with the
Please.
boys.
Yes.
We want to know who you'd like to hear from, like what their process may look like. Personally, something that would be interesting to me would be to have someone on from the Disc Golf Network and just talk about the day to day, or like just all the stuff they have to do to make it work. Because I feel like the Disc Golf Network gets a lot of hate, whether it be valid or invalid. It would be interesting to hear their point of view of that. That's interesting to me. Might not be interesting to the viewers.
100%. No,
I think it'd be interesting to
I
me.
agree. That's what I'm saying. Just highlighting things that make disc golf run that we don't even realize. Even getting owners of companies, like that's stuff. Like these discs show up at your pro shop, but there's way more intricacies to actually starting a disc golf company, like getting your
Totally.
own molding machine, as we'll talk about later, Jay Millie with a trash panda. So we're gonna get into that. That's gonna be very exciting. I'm excited about that.
Can't wait.
But yeah, I guess I'll give my 2 cents real quick about people watching podcasts. Yeah, same thing as they just elaborated on. Thank you. We really appreciate it. This is just a passion project. We're not making any money from this. And it's just super cool to kind of get that support right off the bat. And, we're going to keep going. I wouldn't be surprised if I do this for the next 5 years, and hopefully it keeps going and going and we can be in a more established podcast. But to all
Tell
of
your
you,
friends.
yeah, tell your friends. But to all you that
Subscribe.
are listening from day one, yeah, thank you.
Join the
it's
Funsie
awesome.
Army.
Oh,
Absolutely. We are
real-
recruiting.
Real quick, someone told me about that. Are we gonna call our fans the Funsies or the Funsie fans? Or
I actually introed the episode with Funsie folks or
Funsie
Funsie folk. I don't know.
folks.
I don't know if you guys dig that or
Funsie
not.
folk. Funsie
Yeah.
folk. I like
Yeah.
that.
Funsie folk.
If
Word.
you're a podcast listener, you're part of the Funsie folk.
Yes. Let's go, boys.
Funsie folk. Sweet.
Sweet. Was there anything else that you guys want to touch on with that? Otherwise, I can move on to the
Yeah.
next part.
Other than thank you, very grateful.
Sweet. Yes.
Shout out
Thank
FaZe
you.
Clan. It's Jay Millie's show.
Funsie
Okay.
folk.
I don't know if you guys wanted to do this on a weekly basis, but I figured we'd kind of start with the episode with like an icebreaker question. Kind of keeps it lighthearted before we dive into results from the tournament last week. So the one that I've got
I
is
Let's do it, dude.
You're the
Yeah,
host.
yeah.
You can do whatever.
heck yeah. So for those that have not seen my first YouTube video, understandable, but it focuses on discs and if disc golfers actually return them. And within that episode, I end up giving my worst disc loss story. I don't know if you guys end up having one that you'd be able to share, or of one from one of your friends or something. I think that would be just kind of like a funny story to start out with.
I think I had Jay Millie. Do you have something before?
I mean,
I
I'll
can
just
share
touch
mine
on
if you'd
it.
like.
I watched Nathan's video, obviously, because we're homies. And it was great. You guys should check it out if you haven't seen it. But he talks about
Oh, man.
his, which is essentially, well, I'll let you tell it. But mine is kind of
Yeah.
similar in the sense of
No
we were
way.
playing a disc golf hole, and it's like it was a long par 4, but it's wide open in this park. And one of my friends threw his shot, and it landed in the middle of the fairway down there. And then we were kind of just like moseying on our way down to the hole, and we saw where it landed. But then when we get up there, we just can't find it anywhere. And we look like off down the hole, and there's just some guy walking with it and like walking away. And we didn't end up catching him or getting a hold of him. But the guy, I guess, just walked by, saw the disc, and
He
was like, "Oh,
yoinked
sick.
it.
My disc now." Yeah. So he just dipped.
Isn't
But
that
That's
amazing? Like someone
Kinda
someone
crazy.
saw that and they're like, "Oh, that's mine. That's mine now."
yeah. Yeah.
Unreal.
I mean, I low key understand. Like, if I didn't know disc golf and I was just walking through a park and had no clue disc golf was being played, and I just saw a frisbee on the ground, I'd be like, "Oh, sick! What? Like, why did someone
Oh.
leave their frisbee here? You know, like."
Actually, amazing side story. I don't know, just right before Ben shares.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
Ben and I were playing at Buffum Dam, and he was like, "Do you have any Destroyer-esque discs that I can borrow to something, please?" Because for those that don't know, very difficult course, lots of wind. So I ended up having a few discs. One of them ended up being just like a wraith that I let him borrow. And on one of the
Good stuff.
holes, he absolutely smoked it over a wall. Like we couldn't even find it. We looked for probably like 10 minutes. Fast forward to the end of the round. I think I was on hole 18 and I was like, shoot, I forgot a disc back on like hole 14. So I run back over there and the disc is right there on like where the map is for the park. So someone found it, picked it up, and brought it so far away from where we actually lost it. And then I was so excited. I took a picture of it. I brought it over to Ben. I threw it to him. But yeah, just perfect example. Someone that just finds it and they're like, I'm doing the right thing. So obviously there are people that are trying to help out. But yeah, just kind of funny story.
Dude, that actually. Sorry, Ben. I have one
No,
more
keep
real
going,
quick.
keep going.
Oh yes.
So what happened? So this is like the opposite of a good story. So when my friends and I got into disc golf in college, my friends didn't even realize that like you return discs. Like they would just like find a disc and just be like, oh, okay, cool. Now this is my disc. And I didn't do it. But my friend found like this cool MVP Insanity. And at the time, we only had like the starter pack. And he was like, this disc is insane. But it had a name and number on the back, and he just decided not to call it. And
Oh,
one day we were playing a course and we just ran into this random guy
No.
and we're like, hey, you want to play along? And so we start playing, we start chatting, we get a few holes in, and then we're like, oh yeah, man, what's your name? And he was like, Ethan blank or whatever. And he says his name. And I didn't think anything of it, but like 30 seconds later, when he's off a little bit, my friend walks up to me. He's like, dude, that disc I found the other day, that's his disc. Like his name's Ethan whatever. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, look. And he like pulls the disc out and it has the guy's name on it. And I was like, dude, give it back. Like, what are you doing? And so
Bro.
he ended up giving it back, but it was hilarious because it was like, what are the odds that you found that disc and then played with this? We never played with random people, and we'd played with some random guy and it was his disc. It was just so funny.
Bro, karma is so real.
Yeah,
All right,
literally.
Ben, what do you got?
yeah, I like that. I made him fess up. Be honest. He was being a
Yeah,
little
literally.
deceitful, and
Yeah,
then
for sure,
and then-
for sure.
Yeah. This isn't the crazy. Like, the reason I keep having a blank face is because I'm trying to think. But it was when I was in Dallas. I have a crazy lost disc story.
Okay.
So I had this big germ Thunderbird. That I
In the story.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think what year it was. It was like 2021. It was an older run of Big Germ Thunderbird, and it's a nice run. I think it used some of the Innova's older plastic, and I lost so long ago in Maple Hills hole 8, Maple Hill hole 8. So I lost it there. I said sayonara, whatever. I'm in Dallas this past week or so ago, and I get this random text. Found your disc at something something. Oh, I gotta. Jamie Lee might know the course, so I'll have to find it. But he said found your disc at somewhere, and it was in Fort Worth. And I'm like,
What?
so this is 3 years later. I lost the disc. It's in Fort Worth, and I say, dude, I lost that disc at Maple Hill 3 years ago, and for some chance, I am literally 40 minutes away from you right now. After you texted me, like, what are the odds? I haven't been to Dallas, Texas ever, and the only time I'm there, some guy texted me with my disc that I lost so long ago in my hometown, and I was able to actually retrieve it. It's in my bag. I don't got it. But let me see if I can find the.
You kind of made it sound like that wasn't that crazy of a story, but I feel like that is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's pretty wild.
It was okay. Here it is. I have the text. Found it at Gateway.
Oh, Gateway's such a good course. No way. Here, wait, let me see.
If you can see, I don't want to show his number, but if you're on YouTube, found it at Gateway. Where's Gateway?
Found it at Gateway.
Texas.
Where's Gateway?
And I texted him, that is absolutely crazy because I live in Massachusetts and lost that disc at Maple Hill 2 years ago. Someone stole it from me and lost it again 2 years later. So like, just an insane story of.
That's wild.
I don't even understand.
I play all the time.
Yeah, so literally, just I was just happened to be in Dallas, and my disc came back to me from my hometown, even though I was in Dallas.
Crazy.
Anyways.
You gotta figure out how many miles that was. Yeah, that your disc
2,000. At least
essentially what happened is you threw your disc in the lake, and so essentially you threw 2,000 miles because you didn't retrieve it until Fort Worth, right? So
yeah. Here's the thing, Jay Miller. That's your next video. You got to find out how to levitate a disc. I'm pretty sure there's platforms.
What?
And you got to drive like
I gotta
500
throw
miles.
It, have it
the
levitate,
longest drive
and then
be like, I threw the disc, because technically it doesn't hit the.
I drove the
hit
disc.
the ground. So you got to figure out the levitation.
I drove a disc 500 miles.
Yeah, I entered the longest drive contest.
Just that sounds like an April Fool's type video.
Yeah, that's the most clickbait thing I've ever heard.
I entered the longest drive.
So mine I'll just share briefly. So to like make it short, I was just doing field work in like a soccer field at one of my local courses that runs adjacent to one of the holes. So I probably have like 20 or so discs at the opposite side of the field, and where all the discs that I threw, you have to walk by there from the previous hole to get to the next tee pad. So I'm lining up my next shot, and then I just see a guy that's over there coming through, and he looks around and he sees all my discs spread around, and then he starts like picking them up and putting them in his bag. So he has just like one of those like $40 Innova bags. He's just loading that puppy right up with all my discs. Like, so this guy thinks that he just
no way.
Oh, I swear. He just like taking
He's
all
like,
my
yard sale.
discs. Yeah, I was watching for like 10 discs or so, and then I was like, I gotta stop this man. So I yelled to him. What I said in the video was not accurate. I definitely said something way worse. I mean, not in like a bad way, but just like, try to get his attention. And then he was just like, oh, oh. And then he just poured everything out, and he was just trying to pick up all my discs. He's like, I'm sorry, I was just trying to help collect your discs for you. And I was like, oh no, it's all good, man, it's all good. And he just left, and after that didn't play any more disc golf. But yeah, hopefully he learned his lesson, because that is a
hilarious.
wild thing to assume.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got that is pretty crazy, but if he had that newer bag, maybe like Jay Miller is saying, sometimes when you begin, you don't realize you gotta,
of course,
it's return the disc. I
yeah.
guess for some people, it's just not part of the regiment, I guess.
Right. It's like writing your name on a T sign when you ace. Like at first you don't know that that's wrong, but you see a bunch of people that do it, and you're like,
that's
I want to be a part of that club.
Yep, that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit of Jonesboro disc golf. Yeah. So for this year, they ended up. So we recorded, and then right after that, they ended up changing all the holes from like the last like few years. So a lot of the holes were the same, but they changed the layout of that, which actually did make the course feel a little bit different. I don't know how it felt for you guys, but I did enjoy it. Going into Jonesboro, typically, that was just kind of one of the like middle excitement tournaments for me usually. But I have to say, I really, really enjoyed Jonesboro this year. Like, what about you guys?
You can go, Ben.
Okay, I was waiting on you to go. Yeah, no, I think it was pretty exciting. It definitely wasn't a birdie fest like last year. I know some holes were changed to be harder, and it was a lot more windy, which is why the holes are kind of designed like that. And there's like there's some chat in our my other group chat that I'm in about 18's finishing hole kind of sucking, but I think
I like that one.
Yeah, how it
I was a
played
big
out.
fan.
It was the third hardest hole, and how just how the tournament played out at the end, with for MPO at least. Obviously, Chris and Tatar dominated. We'll get into that. But
Annihilation.
for MPO, around hole 17, when both cars were on 17-16, it looked like there was going to be a 4-way playoff. Absolutely, but everyone missed that hole through OB, and then other than AB, who landed in bounds and could have hit a putt if he needed to, but he just laid up. So I was going into that hole thinking this week, like, oh, this is going to be a bad finishing hole. But after seeing that, I'm like, no, that was an incredible finishing hole. And I think it was super cool because it was like Ben Callaway, he could have just laid up and then pitched it up. It was kind of just strategy. And I don't fault Ben for going for it at all. He wanted to take it into his own hands, destiny. But I'm just saying, I liked how there's that strategy. But if you go for it, like it's a super risk. But if you don't go for it, AB's on your tail. And at that time, AB and Calvin's on your tail and easily could have birdied that hole. So it didn't happen, but AB definitely could have.
Watching AB smoke that nuke into the Milky Way galaxy on 18 to like spike Heiser right into the green, it's just a thing of beauty. Yeah, I kind of agree. Just to touch on that a little bit, I wasn't completely sold on 17. I think it fulfilled its role as being hole 17. I thought it was okay, but yeah, 18, same deal, Ben. At first, I was not convinced about it, but when it came down to the final hole, I was like, no, this is perfect, because you have to make a decision, like you're saying. And Ben Callaway made his decision, ended up not being the correct one, but at least he went for it.
Yeah, exactly. At least I don't fault him at all. And we're actually interviewing him on Staggered Stance. So that episode's already out. So if you want to hear more about that, maybe I'll ask him that. Tune in there.
Any thoughts over there, Joshy boy?
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't really watch disc golf that much.
Here we go. We'll carry the torch.
Yeah. I mean, I think my mindset with this is like, you guys can tell me the things and I will be interested.
That's fine. We can be the disc
you.
golf analyzers of the podcast.
Like for me, like I keep up with it. Like I tracked it on PGA Live, but I don't know. I like when I would watch it religiously, it just felt like I spent 25 hours over the weekend watching disc golf, and it was like, well, I'd just rather be playing disc golf, or I don't know, editing a video or doing something else rather than watching disc golf all day. And not to hate on watching disc golf, I love it, but I don't know, I needed to be more productive. So that's how it's been for me. I'm planning on watching the Jomez coverage because I mean, I already know all of the things that happened, but I think it'll be interesting to watch it and see how the story plays out actually, because I didn't watch it live. So
yeah,
don't hate me. I don't watch live very much.
That's fine. You know, I think Jomez is a perfect way to consume it, because
especially now more than ever.
In your free time, if you can, just watching Jomez. That's sometimes all I can do. I watched, fortunately, the live. On Sunday, I was able to kind of chill out and wasn't that busy. But normally that's what I do, just watch Jomez, because now that they are the lead card and have some chase card stuff, you can pretty much, if you watch enough, you can even skip, you can pretty much get the whole gist of what's happening in tournament. And only really what matters is the top 10 people. That's the people. What people talk about. No one's talking about how a person jumped 40 spots from 80 to 40. They're talking about kind of lead card, chase card, stuff like that. So that if live was taking too much of your time, yet that's honestly sometimes just what I do, just Jomez, and I just watch it when I can and stuff like that.
Same deal. I mean, what you're saying is exactly the same thing for me, because I mean, you have things that you want to do on the weekend outside of just watching disc golf.
Yeah, you can't just sit there for 4 hours.
Well, you can, and I'm sure some people do, which is great.
I'm just saying, every day, I'll rephrase it. You definitely can, but human beings
that's
have
a lot to
things
expect.
do. Yeah,
Right.
we have things to do.
Which is something that we can touch on a little bit, I think, because I feel like a lot of media sources tend to talk about how watching live is prime, and I do agree. But to expect people to watch live for an entire weekend, or even something like Worlds, which is just for 5 days, is kind of a little bit unrealistic. Of course, the option is there, and I think it should be. But things like Jomez exist, and in all honesty, on Saturday, I ended up watching highlights just for that round, because that's what I could do for that day.
Yeah, literally, like every Sunday night I have church group, and like last night I got a text that was like, dude, tune in and watch AB, Ben Calloway, and Calvin come down the stretch. Like, it's super tight and crazy. And I was like, dude, I can't. Like, I got group, like I just can't. I wanted to watch it at that point when I got a text about it, because I was like, oh, it'll be a crazy finish. But
it was pretty crazy. Could have been crazier. I was kind of bummed that no one really.
Playoffs are fun.
Yeah. No one really got in the circle out of the 4 people, but yeah.
As soon as Ben Calloway went to go tap in that one putt and it spat out, did you see this, Ben? I want to say it was like hole 15 or something like that. He went to go tap in his putt, and he jammed it because it was very high wind, and it spat right out back at him.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that specific one. No, I did see it happen to Ricky, though.
The stroke he need. That's the stroke he needed.
I saw it happen to Ricky on live. It was he just threw it in. Same exact thing. It was old. Oh no, never mind. I'm not gonna say which one, because I don't know if it's correct. But yeah, I did see Ricky splash out. Same thing.
I don't know if I really want to touch on it at all. But baskets. Is there really anything that we could add to it that hasn't already been said before? What do you guys think?
I think that's not the basket's fault personally. I think it's just wind, just how it is. When it gets windier, if you do high chains, there's a chance that it's going to catch under the flight plate and get pushed out. So putting is pretty difficult. So me personally, in winds, I'm not like gonna be aiming for the bottom of me personally, just like right over the cage, because the wind could do anything with that, just blow it down. Like, I'm gonna aim for the center. And I know you're supposed to play the wind with a putt, but even that's sometimes difficult to read. So I aim for the center, and sometimes probably gets a little high because we're not perfect, and then unfortunately wind whoop. But yeah, I don't think that's the basket's fault personally.
Right. My opinion on the baskets is that for every tournament moving forward, I think they need to change. I think it needs to be they contract people to stand at the baskets and just catch the putts every time, and gently set them in there, because I don't know. I think that's just the best way to remove error from it.
Oh man, thank God you said it. That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's really what everyone's been lobbying for, is just contract people, have them stand by the baskets, and kind of just play backboard and just set it in there every time.
Right. Yeah. Look, I get where people are coming from. I get where people are coming from when they complain about baskets. Least for my personality, I always like to feel like things are in my control. So instead of blaming a basket, I tend to be like, oh, I messed something up. And I'm not saying that's a healthy mindset, but at least for me, I feel like I am in control of what happens, which kind of gives me, I don't know, like just, I like that feeling of feeling like I'm in control, as opposed to just like things are, like, I can't think of like the proper words, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah. That you're blaming other things. Like it's
Right.
this thing that you like to put it on yourself, which I don't think that's unhealthy. I mean, sometimes it is the basket's fault, but it's not a good thing to consistently blame the basket fault when you're really just throwing am side, and it could catch, but sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I think those baskets. What were do you know what they were? Because it was sponsored by Westside. So
It was a West Side tournament, so I imagine maybe they were like veterans. Yeah.
Yeah,
Veteran baskets are good though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have nothing really to share other than, I mean, I just play disc golf casually mostly, so I just enjoy just going out and playing. So like, oh, anyways, I don't think I think we have to also touch on. We can't really ignore Ezra Aderhold or Mason Ford anymore. Have you guys noticed this? Like
Mason Ford's been on a tear, dude. He's been
and it's so cool to see
shredding. I think part of it's because he's a Texas boy. Like in the Texas swing, obviously he's gonna do well. Like he plays in Texas all the time. He's from San Antonio area, I believe, and so like it just makes sense that he's coming out of Texas hot. And I saw his Instagram post. He hinted like he won Music City Open a few years ago, and he's like 2 times sounds really nice. So I think he's feeling good coming into the Music City Open. So that'll be interesting to see, especially with how hot he's been playing.
Yeah,
right. I feel like a lot of people don't give that win. I think it should be respected, but I think some people take it away because it was a Silver Series at the time.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but he beat Ricky.
It wasn't.
Was it not?
Silver Series? It was just it was the last national tour ever. So it was basically an Elite Series event. It just was the PDGA National Tour. If I don't know if you
because he was holding off Ricky
and tease. Yeah, no, it was legit, 100% legit.
Yeah.
We can. I mean, I can go back and try and find it.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that tournament.
Yeah, it was a pretty good field. Adam Hammes, Garrett Gerthy, Chris Dickerson, Bradley Williams, Paul Macbeth, Nico. It was basically obviously it wasn't as strong as an Elite Series, but it was kind of the end of the NT. It was that last NT ever, if I am correct.
Okay.
So, but it was still a legit win, and I'd credit it to him. Even though it's technically not an Elite Series. But I'll speak on Mason Ford. 2023, I remember saying this to some people like, dude, Mason Ford has been sneakily pretty good. Like, it was when he went like 5th at Champions Cup, and he was doing pretty solid at some Silver Series, 6th at the Open at Austin, 10th at the Mid-American Open. And
so the man is out here.
Yeah, this was 2023. And then he kind of tapered off from there. But I kind of had a good feeling. Like, I was basically saying I don't think Mason Ford gets the credit he deserves just because he's kind of unassuming. Like, he's a smaller dude.
He's so
He's
smooth.
a smoothie boy.
He's so smooth, doesn't really bomb. But I think this year he's proving like, no, I'm legit. I'm here to stay. I am good at disc golf, and we can see fourth at Waco, 16th at Open at Austin, 7th at Texas State, 10th at Jonesboro. I mean, the man's a baller, and these are. I understand the Texas courses and all that, but people. And I mean, like, Texas course as in him, like, filleting the woods and stuff like that. But when you think Mason Ford, you don't think, oh, this power thrower. But he can sling the disc, and he knows his angles very well. And I don't know. I've kind of been, since 2023, I'm like, Mason Ford has some real potential, and he has some real game.
It's fun to watch, man. I was very stoked after round 2 when I saw Isaac was tied for first, and I just thought back to when Ben was roasting my pick, and I was like, yes, beat him.
Yes.
Oh, but
wait, you just
my
froze.
Picks did
okay, never mind. No, you're good. You're good now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did see that, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna get toasted by Sajko, and I was like, dang, I was incorrect, and I will admit I still am incorrect. He came in like 10th or
tied for 10th.
Yeah, so I'm still incorrect. He played a lot better than I was expecting, and good for him. He proved me wrong, and he proved you right that he's a baller, and that kind of Jonesboro, I guess, is the start of him doing well. It's just how he is. He's odd. First few tournaments for him, he just doesn't
He's
do great.
back.
So yeah, I hope he does well. And as for Ezra, I guess I can just touch on that. I don't know. I guess Ezra's that power thrower. We've always kind of known that Ezra was that guy. That eventually it was going to be his time. He just had to put it together. Am I surprised that he's doing well? No, I think he's always had the potential. He's always randomly come on podium every single season, almost winning events. Like he was third at European Open last year, and he had basically a busted ankle. So I don't think Ezra's like the new kid on the block, the new scene. But I think Mason Ford is more of like a crazy kind of like I wouldn't be surprised if he's most improved player of the year if he keeps it up.
For sure. Okay, let's head on over to FPO.
Yes.
Is there Kristen Tatar just annihilates the entire field? A tale as old as time, and by time I mean kind of the last couple of years.
Well, what's crazy is she hasn't done it at all this year now.
Exactly.
She's the only repeat winner so far this season, right? So that's pretty interesting, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. I did see Holland Hanley in round 2. She did just make a huge comeback, and I was excited about it. But then I think she only ended up shooting even on the round and final round, and then just wasn't able to capitalize on what the work that she put on round 2.
Yeah, I mean, this event, like Josh said, was Kristen Tatar's kind of first time dominating the field, but she dominated by a lot. So the score separation from first to fourth place was 15 strokes. 15 strokes. That is insane. That's a 15 down round. I don't even know how else to explain it. She absolutely dominated this tournament. I know there was some questions like, oh, is Kristen, is people coming up? Is Kristen not going to be as dominant? I still don't think she's going to be as dominant because we can see players like Marie Oliva, Ellie Ezra popped off, Heidi Line,
consistently in contention this year.
Yeah,
Heidi Line, so cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just these newer names, and the field's getting better and better, more stacked. Rebecca Cox, even she didn't have a great season, I don't believe, last year, but this year she's been on tear. If you can see how she's been finishing, absolute tear. I think she was like averaging like in the 30s. She's probably averaging in the 10s now, and I think that's super exciting. So I don't think Kristen's gonna have as the dominance of a performance as last year, but it does cause the question: is this the start of like Kristen Tatar kind of for you guys? I gave my point, like obliterating the field. I mean, she second place was 9 strokes below her. That's a lot, and you could just tell on coverage. Some people were just throwing shots and they were like maybe going outside circle, and Kristen was just boom parking them, and it was kind of crazy. Like she was like the vet that was more experienced against all these kind of younger up and coming names other than Holland. Oh, Emily, that's what I meant to forgot to mention. Emily Beach too. I know she didn't have a great final round, but she was on lead card and she did incredible. Her again, she has been averaging maybe in the 30s this season, around there, and she popped off this week. And unfortunately, final round, but stuff like that. It's just crazy to see the FPO field, and I'll get into that after this. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a start of Kristen's dominance again? Is it going to be like last year where she just can't stop winning, or do you think the field's kind of going to be like, no, we're here to say? Because from this event, it seems like Kristen's going to dominate.
Right. I find it interesting. I don't know if you guys find it interesting as well, how quickly a disc golf audience is to write off a player. So right off the bat this year, if Kristen Tatar is not winning, everyone's like, oh, is Kristen Tatar's time up? Whose time is it next? But then a win like this happens where she just shoots 15 strokes over second place, and we're just not surprised by that. We're like, oh yeah, she's back, which I think kind of overrules all the thoughts that people were having in the first place. It's kind of like when, obviously Paul McBeth is struggling a bit, but if Paul McBeth were to win this year, everyone would be like, the GOAT, which of course he's deserving of that title. But yeah, I don't know. What do you got, Josh?
I don't know, man. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like I don't watch that much Pro Tour coverage, but if I had to give my take is that she will not dominate this year. That there will be a bunch more repeat winners like we've already seen this season. But something I did think about while we were talking about this is, so did she end up averaging above 1,000? Because she's right at the edge, right? So if she had a good,
she's at 999.
Yeah, so if she had a good tournament,
oh
over
yeah,
1,000,
this tournament she
be,
ended up averaging by 1,000. Yes,
yeah, so
100%.
Let's go.
Which this could be part of what moves her.
Shout out Statmando, cool stat from them. I thought this is the most consecutive major and elite winners with 1,000 plus rated average event. So, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time that's ever happened. And basically the FEO field, like I said, it's rising. Players that kind of weren't doing as great last year are starting to get into the swing of things, and then players that were, legit, like Ella Hansen, Holland Hanley, but didn't have those wins, are even starting to show up more and more and starting to actually be like contention as the top players in the sport. And it's just crazy to see the FPO field growing in that way where, 6 consecutive 1,000 plus on average elite and major winners that the FPO field is averaging now. That's just a testament just how the game is growing.
Right. Do you think there's any one thing that kind of points to being so many over 1,000 rated rounds? Because is the field getting better, or is the course design getting better for FPO? Because I know if you listen to some pros, like I've heard Katrina Allen talk about in the past, how they straight up would be playing from MPO tees, and I've heard her say that courses now are starting to get easier, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing for the FPO. I'm sure it's a combination of those things, though.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's literally just people getting better. I think the FPO field is getting more exciting, as in, that's why I'm saying Kristen Tatar, I don't believe she's going to be this dominant force as much. She's going to be a dominant force, don't get me wrong, but as much as last year, I think there's going to be a lot more newer names that we're going to see. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Rebecca Cox out of nowhere gets a win. And to be frank, it wouldn't be out of nowhere because the field is growing. I mean, we just saw Anniken Sten, her first 1,000 rated round ever was the first round of the what was it? It was wasn't it just the last
the tournament? Texas State?
Texas State.
Yeah, Texas State. Sorry, the Texas ones get jumbled up in my head. But yeah, Texas State. Her first ever 1,000 rated round was at Texas State, and then she shot 1,000 rated round the second, 1,000 rated round the third, and she won. So that just proves that these girls are legit, and it's an exciting time for FPO.
Yeah, they're just getting forced to step up or just get left behind.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more type of like I've already reiterated it, but yeah, there's a lot more people.
Right. Are there any more closing thoughts on Jonesboro?
Jay Millie, your homework, you got to at least watch Jomez from now on, so we can talk about it.
Well, okay, I kept up. I knew these storylines. I know all the stuff that happened, but I didn't watch it. So, and I meant to watch Gomez this morning.
No,
that's
that's
on
fine.
me. That's on me, guys. That's on me.
It's all good. It's all good.
Next tournament.
Next
There's
time.
is there an off week this week and then Music City
No,
or what?
no,
what's
Music
next?
City's this weekend.
Right into Music City, baby.
Oh, right into it. Okay. Well, I will
Yep.
be on top of it. I will come in prepared.
Let's
Heck
go.
yeah. So I don't know if you want to do this on a weekly basis, but I was watching some of the players out there, and I was like, dude, some of these players' fits are so sick. I don't know if you want to start talking about, like the player with the most drip each week. I don't know if anyone comes to mind because I'm kind of springing this on you. But
Yeah,
I
don't
wanted
know.
to touch on.
I
I wanted to touch on, dude,
Who
Sayananda.
specifically?
I saw Sayananda this past week, and I was just like, dude, all the outfits that she wears are like, I just think they're super cool. I don't know if you guys kind of lean more towards like professional or athletic, or even just like a style that is unique and speaks to you. The latter is kind of me with Sayananda. I just found it cool to see and just see some sort of originality out there. So I guess if we were doing this, that would be my pick. But
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think
don't-
it'd be fun to have a segment like this every week where we
Yeah.
pick one person that we're like, oh yeah, they showed out this week, you know?
right, because people tend to go for Kristen Tatar, thinks that she looks, and of course she does look professional. Or Ezra Aderhold in MPO is another prime example. Everyone's like, that guy could be playing any sport, and he just looks so professional with what he's wearing and his build.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention too much to the drip of players, but I mean it's already established. Ezra Aderhold, I guess, is one of the more professional looking ones with style, and I think it, but it's already known. But I as for what I enjoy, I think I like professional with a little personality in it. But I also enjoy just straight up professional. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
Man's just playing all fields with this answer.
yeah,
my
I don't.
take
It's
is,
such a random question. It just was like sprung on me. I don't.
I
really-
know.
I have
Hey, that's
I have
fine,
one
man.
person that comes to mind for me.
Oh, hit him with it.
Here's my take for drippiest on the tour. Silas Schultz. That man's got
Yes.
You're not
style.
wrong.
It's
You're
my
not
it's
wrong.
my style. It's my kind of style. Silas Schultz, you are the drippiest on tour.
Oh.
That is your award.
So
You've heard it here first.
I think that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. Professional yet kind of your own personality, where he's wearing polos and stuff like that, and nothing too crazy where it's like this guy looks like a weirdo, but he's doing it in his own way and in stuff he enjoys. Which that's what I'm saying. I think that's what I'm saying. I think professional looks the best, but I like it if you're professional and kind of doing your own, like Tiger Woods, Sunday red, baby, wearing the
Of
red on
course.
Sunday.
Yeah,
course.
I wear yellow pants in every tournament I play.
Yeah,
Superstition?
I've noticed that.
No, just for fun.
Yeah,
Exactly. Just
Yeah,
I love
when
it.
I'm on tour in a few years, I'll be the drippiest.
I love it.
Ooh, I like that. 10:30
Heck
rate
yeah.
drip. And shout out Randon Lala. Actually, he posts on Instagram drip checks. He outlines his outfit and then throws a shot. So he's trying to be the drippiest. So we got to keep an eye.
Yeah, we'll see for next week.
Yeah.
We'll see if
Cool.
anyone catches Silas Schultz. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. All right, let's transition. Josh, you visited Trash Panda, and you
I
made a
did.
whole video about it.
I did.
So, yeah, why don't you share that experience with us?
Yeah. So for our viewers, Trash Panda. I mean, hopefully you know who they are, but they are a fully recycling company. Oh, gosh, that was a horrible way to say it. They make fully recycled and fully recyclable discs, and they have 3 PDGA approved molds right now, 2 that are in like full production. And I've been a big fan of them for a long time. They make YouTube videos on top of making discs. And so I recently announced that I'm a part of their team. So I am sponsored, but I also do stuff on the back end for them a little bit. And so luckily I got to go out to Denver with them right now. And they just got an injection molding machine. And so if you don't know what an injection molding machine, it's pretty much what every single disc is made on. And I was lucky enough to get to make a disc from start to finish. And it was a really cool experience because it makes you realize how much goes into making just one disc, because you just grab a disc and you're like, okay, well, I have a disc right here, like, woohoo, nice, I'm gonna go play disc golf now. But like in reality, like there are just so many things that go into making a singular disc. Like in your head, you might be like, oh, I could set out and make a disc. No, you couldn't. It would take thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a singular disc, and it's pretty crazy. My video talks a lot about it. I mean, are you guys interested in any specific point? Because I don't want to get too into the nitty gritty without, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
You can watch
the
my
reason
video if you want to
I
learn.
was interested in, because I wrote that on the show notes. So the reason I wanted is just like, I guess, yeah, the process kind of behind it, the logistics, the business side of making that disc. And I know you went into it in the video, but if there's anything you want to elaborate more and share of what you thought was really cool that you didn't really expect to see, because you were making a disc, and we don't really get to see that because companies are pretty secretive about how they
I mean,
kind of do their own thing.
I think the most interesting thing that isn't really talked about, and it's kind of only interesting to me probably because I'm an engineer, but it could be interesting to everyone. But in terms of like the injection molding machine, it's not just like put plastic in, spurt out, and then there's a disc. It's literally like on the computer. I mentioned in my video, but not really in depth. On the computer attached to the injection molding machine, they are controlling every aspect of what happens. So how fast the plastic comes out, how much plastic comes out, what temperature the plastic comes out, the pressure at which the plastic comes out. And so like when all of those things are considered, to figure out the like how to make a perfect disc, it takes like tweaking all of those things for every new plastic you use. So every time you're putting plastic through a machine, you have to figure out new parameters to have it output a good disc. And so like with major manufacturers like Discraft, they are just using their ESP plastic on this machine, and that is all they run on that machine because they have it down to a science already. But like something interesting with Trash Panda is, since they're using fully recycled plastic, every time they're putting a new plastic through the machine, they have to essentially revamp their whole process. And it's really
Oh,
tough
dude,
and takes a lot of
what?
time. So it's
That's
really
insane.
interesting. Yeah, it's quite crazy, honestly.
I feel like that's the part that I find the most interesting, is that you essentially are kind of guessing each time. And like you mentioned before, where everyone thinks that a disc just comes out and they're like, I could do that. Just straight up bro science, just
Yeah.
with a lot of things in life. Yeah, just super weird that it's such a sophisticated piece of technology to make a disc, and discs have been around for, what has it been, like 40 years, 50 years, something like that. And
Mhm.
still, like, a huge part of that process is just trying to figure out what works for each run of disc.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy because, I mean, the nice thing about Trash Panda is they if they make a factory second or factory third, or like even just a flop of a disc, they just grind it up and rerun it because they do all their disc recycled. But
Mhm.
I believe for a lot of the other manufacturers, they just take the disc off the machine and toss them, which kind of sucks.
Dude, that
Uh,
does suck.
yeah, I I know for a fact, at least, like there's some companies that do use regrind and then kind of put that in their mix as kind of like a base, not fully, because that's what I'm not gonna say the company, because I don't know if I'm supposed to like expose their trade secrets, but yeah, where it's like the old, because when you're making a disc, I kind of also know a little bit more about it. Not the science behind it, but I know kind of how it works. When you're making a disc, like you said, they're the exact parameters, and a lot of times, the first couple times it just doesn't come out right, or even so, or you can print 300 in a row and then the 301st it just goes wonky. So a lot of times you are getting bad discs that you have to kind of, regrind. I don't know. I can't speak for like the other manufacturers that you said if they just throw it away. I have a feeling like I know Innova, their Echo Star is reground star, so that's what that is. But I do know some manufacturers do regrind, and then that might be a base of their blend. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I know what's crazy is foil. I guess we can get into that. How Jesse doesn't do any foil because it's not very, I guess,
It's not
sustainable.
sustainable.
Sustainable, and it's right because so for example, the sheet of foil, it's massive, but you're only using, like, if you look at your disc, that little foil, they stamp a whole massive. They have to use a whole like 6x6 inch, let's say, piece of foil, and they print that, and the stuff you see on the disc is the thing that stays, and then they throw out the rest, which is kind of insane. It's like this whole piece that could be utilized, but not yeah, exactly, like what Jay Mill is kind of showing. Exactly. So like that bit massive.
Everything that doesn't have plastic is what gets thrown away. They don't even use the rest of it.
And so I think that's really cool that Jesse kind of found a way to imprint it into the disc. That is that is fascinating to me.
Well, interestingly enough, so it is the sustainability of it because you just throw away so much of it. But at the same time, when you hot stamp a disc with that like metallic sheet, I guess, you're ruining the potential recyclability of the disc in the future. So the biggest thing with Trash Panda discs is, so this is a blue inner core. It's 100% TPU plastic. They mark it on the bottom, and their main intention is to make it as simple as possible to recycle the disc in the future. So with this one, if you were to put a stamp on it with metal, then it wouldn't be 100% TPU. And then it, like, in order to recycle it, you have to separate those. And like when you put a foil on it, they're like, they are attached. And so to recycle it would be way harder than just, oh, this is 100% TPU. Okay, let's just toss it in the grinder and now we can use it for something else.
Yeah. So shout out Jesse. I've fortunately been able to befriend him and talk to him. Super smart in kind of this whole journey he's going on, and it's just super inspiring. Kind of the creative ways he kind of works around the disc golf industry standard to keep it recyclable. But that's insane that every single new plastic blend that he has to figure out that must, I don't even know. That would cause heartache and stress 24/7. Fortunately, he has some people that can, help him out if he's ever. So, he's not in this alone. So that's the good thing, that there's some good people out there that are helping our boy out.
He's a prime example of someone, just seeing him since 2020 put out content. It's just so cool to follow along with the entire journey because, like you mentioned in your video, he just started in his garage and just took it from there. And now he has his own injection molding machine and is just able to control so much better than, spending 30 minutes to make one disc that hopefully works. Mm-hmm. So it's just nice to follow a narrative.
That's the thing. Right. In his garage, it really never worked. I mean, I don't know if it was Robbie C or maybe it was Jesse I felt those mad hard discs that he's made where it was just like rock solid. But hey, it was a start. When I first got into disc golf, Jesse and Robbie C were my favorite, and I loved watching Jesse's videos as well because it was just so cool. I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. I was a tackle store owner when I got into disc golf, so it was just so cool to kind of see the behind the scenes of how a businessman is being an entrepreneur and trying to create this incredible thing. And it's crazy just how far he's come.
Yeah, as corny as it is, I mean, we all have to start somewhere. Even just me, it's like putting out YouTube or us starting this podcast. Like, it only gets better as time goes on.
Exactly. So exactly as time goes on, and that's why it's so funny because that's why in the beginning I was kind of like blanking out because I was trying to not say as much. So
Oh, is that one of the things that you notice about yourself?
Yes. I was like, but I don't think I can do it because I was thinking about not saying and not thinking about actually what I am going to say.
It does more harm than good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was one thing of me trying to like get better, but like I don't think it's possible unless I practice somehow because
Right.
with the Thunderbird. That's why I was blank because I was trying not to say after I said Thunderbird. I was trying not to say and Josh was like, "That's the story." But yeah, like you said, as we keep going, it'll get better. And yeah, sorry.
My thing is looking at the camera because my monitor's like over here. So when I'm looking at you guys, I'm looking this way.
Yeah.
But my camera is this way. So if I'm looking at my camera, I can't look at you guys. So I feel like it's weird for
why
maybe
is your
someone
monitor
watching this on YouTube.
to the left though?
I have 2 monitors, and then my camera is just set up in the middle, just sitting. Do you guys like have your camera set up on top of your monitor?
Correct.
Or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
The webcam.
I should do that. I'll do that. I'll do that for next episode.
My mother-in-law was like, "Why is half your face covered by the microphone? Can't you put it somewhere else?" And I was like, "I have literally nowhere else that I can put this. This is the only spot that it works."
People.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Let's transition over to videos that we have planned. I see that Ben put this down in the show notes. I don't know if you want to share anything that you. What?
I put it down because I thought it would be interesting to talk about.
Cool.
I mean, I already kind of talked about it. I have my tilt video coming out later, either later this week or next week. And then I have some really wonky discs that I'm going to do a video about.
Oh, let's go.
Oh.
Did Jesse give them to you?
Yeah, I got the Trash Panda hookup now. So
that's awesome.
dimples on a golf ball. I have some discs with dimples on them.
Yeah,
so I'm going
the
to do
Michelin?
a whole.
Yeah.
A bunch. There's like 6 of them sitting right next to me. I want to expose
different ones.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different companies. 6 different discs, 6 different companies.
All right, well, sorry, I spoiled one of them, the Michelin, but
dude, no worries.
The other 5.
But that's a big video I have planned. I didn't know if you guys. I put this in here because I thought it was interesting. But I know that Nathan, you just started your YouTube, and then Ben, you've been on the grind for a little while. So I was interested to see if you guys had anything to talk about.
So I do have my video for next month planned out. I have not started actually recording it yet. I have been scripting, which is a process that I don't feel like anyone really talks about too much in YouTube. Maybe they do, but at least I don't hear anyone talk about it. I actually really enjoy scripting.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
dude.
it's fun.
If you haven't, use Notion. Do you use Notion?
No idea what that is.
You got to get on the Notion grind. I can show you. I don't know if I can share I don't want to share my screen because then I'll give all my ideas away, but that is what I do all of my stuff in. And it's like so useful to categorize. Like, I finished this video's in work. This is just a potential idea. These are in work, not really sure. And then you can just throw your ideas in there. And then each one you can open up and then have the script in there. So I can show you it after, but if anyone's looking to script or get into scripting, use Notion. Not sponsored.
I did that because
we are the
all I
boys in
use
Notion.
is my notes app. I just use my notes app.
Oh, I guess that works. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, not like anything fancy, but at least like, it gets the job done. And
Google Docs. I'm a big Docs guy. Do you guys
Hey,
know
big
that
Docs
song?
boy.
Boys, we are the boys in Notion. We give you our devotion, boys. We're the boys in motion. Make some noise for. All right, comment below,
Demonetized.
please. If you're on
Demonetized.
YouTube, please tell me you know that song and where it's from, or Instagram. Actually, let's make a reel out of this. If you know,
So
the song,
should I?
Boys, we are the boys in motion.
Should I share what my idea is, or because it's not going to be going up until next month, I think.
I mean, I don't think anyone's going to steal it, but it's really up to you. Like, if you're not comfortable with it,
I'm
don't
gonna
share it.
steal it.
No, I'm going to do it. Why not? You heard it here first. I don't know if anyone has actually done this before, but I wanted to go through and collect a list of tips from pros and actually try them in real life and see if they work for me. So I don't know, like as an example, I don't know if you've heard Ricky before talk about his putting style and how he developed it in the first place. But he talked about with Dave Feldberg, he would set up boards, one that was like very close in front of him, and then another one that was just in front of that but higher up. And then he would have to put underneath the first board and then go over the second board to drop it into the basket. So that's how he kind of developed his style of coming down super low and popping it up high. And I imagine that's why he's probably so good from circle too.
That's pretty cool.
Or just a great putter in general.
Here's my recommendation to you. I think that's a great idea, but don't broaden the scope too wide. Start with just that one and then make it like a series if you weren't already trying to do that. So
I was not, but
just focus only in on that part of like just the Ricky thing, just the Ricky tip, and make the whole story revolve around that. And that makes it way more long-term. And like, I think that's really interesting. I think that's a great idea. Like I had an idea of like, everyone puts out their tips and tricks videos. Like, I think this is the same vein. Like my idea was like, watch every single one of those videos of how to get more distance. And then like do a video that's like, did I really get more distance? Like, I think that is a great idea, but I think don't take it too broad too quick. Cause I think that's part of what you talked about with your first video is you were like, oh, I did too wide. So just focus on the Ricky and just do the Ricky thing. Cause I think that's sick. I think that'll be a really, really good video.
Perfect. Yeah. Like you mentioned distance, like that is just such the, like, that's what everyone of course wants is like more distance, more distance. So even just touching on certain things, but like that, but yeah, I think it's a really good idea of just trying to make that into a series, kind of find my niche because we touched on it last time. A lot of people do challenges and whatnot. So even like my father-in-law was saying, he's like, it's so difficult. Like, how do you come up with anything different and for like disc golf content? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, that's the ultimate question, right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Benny boy.
So as for me, unfortunately, I'm going to be a little more cryptic and just say you're just going to have to see when it comes out. I do have a lot of exciting stuff that I want to do, but in due time, it'll come out. I do have a video coming out at the end of April. That's going to be awesome, but I just don't want to spoil it. I think but it's a very special video. And then from then on, I have some really cool videos that are happening that some people might already know about because they have been recorded for the video and have seen me say, hey, we need people for this. But as for the future, yeah, I have some really good ideas that I'm just going to kind of keep close to my chest.
When was your last video?
Dude, long time. It was Gannonberg versus Cole Rodolin for money. Actually sponsored by the Disc Barn, which is my other sponsor. Nice. So shout out to the Disc Barn. Code Ben10 there if you want 10% off the entire store. So yeah, but I'm excited. But I will say something I can talk about is now is Funsie. I am officially creating content for Funsie, and you are watching it or listening to it right now. So there you go.
He is. He's doing.
You guys enjoying the? I mean, I guess only one has been posted so far in our Instagram, but I have another one that's going to be going up at 3:00 today.
I love. Okay, I was gonna say, I love your reels. The editing style that you did, I think it was incredible, and I think people are gonna enjoy it, and I think that's gonna really grow the Funsie podcast. I think people are gonna, some reels are gonna pop off, and I think all in all, your reels are incredible, and I hope everyone thinks so too. As you post more, they'll know.
I mean that wasn't me trying to fish for compliments, but
yeah, sure.
It's just it's one of those things where we all start doing this because we like doing it. So you basically are just putting things out in the ether, and you're like, I mean, people are liking it, but you're not getting real time feedback other than comments, and text only shows so much emotion. I mean, there's so many jokes about someone reading a text and just being able to interpret it like 5 different ways. So it is just nice to get feedback in some sort of manner.
No, yeah,
for sure.
Cool. Great video, great reels,
dude. I just thought of this. Maybe I shouldn't bring it up on the podcast, but it would be interesting. What if we started having on just for like part of the podcast, and they would play like their video, like a video they made for disc golf, and we would critique it.
Wait, say it again. You kind of froze there.
I was saying, what if like since we're kind of trying to be the content podcast for disc golf, what if like a segment we did every so often would be have someone who's trying to make disc golf content come on the pod and play their video for us, and then we would critique it.
That's definitely a good idea, but we also have to think about our listening audience, which I feel like is going to be
totally
majority.
Totally.
So
sorry guys, sorry people listening.
No, 100%. I used to say that all the time on the Sagger Sands. I'd be like, "Oh, I have this great idea," and then it would have to be like a visual thing. So, but then it'd be like, "Nah, we got to think about both." But I think it would be cool. We just have to figure out how to relay it to the visual audience. I don't really know.
Could be cool to do
Or,
for the Instagram
audio.
though. I'm sure we could fit that.
Oh yeah,
into
we should do that. That'd be cool. An Instagram post about it. That'd be cool.
Right. I was also thinking
this turned into a brainstorm session.
Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking on like another side note, what if like everyone shows like, oh, like best shot of the week? Like what if people send us their worst shot of the week that caused them to have to throw a Funsie? So like I want to see worst shots of the week.
Yo, and post on an Instagram. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. That's hilarious. That'd be a good idea.
All
Worst
right,
shot of the week.
submit your
DM us at FunsiePod.
segments. Yes.
Yeah,
Submit
please.
your worst shots. Also submit any segments you want to see in the pod. We're
Yes.
looking for
Mhm.
new segments.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. So
Go
I
on.
was thinking about this. So my wife, the two of us started playing disc golf at the exact same time. So I feel like that's been kind of like a cool dynamic for us learning and probably like staying in it, as we kind of had each other to just like go play a bunch of courses all over the place. I didn't know, like, do your significant others play disc golf as well?
My wife will come out with me. She will walk with me and film with me, and from time to time when I can convince her, she'll play, but she's not like deep in it. She's not super down. But our first date was on the disc golf course, and we got engaged on the disc golf course. So holds a special place in our hearts.
Wait, what do you?
Oh, this is
what
real,
do you mean?
baby.
Your first? You took her on a date to the disc golf course? Is that where you met? You gotta explain that, man.
Yeah, please.
She was in DFW, which is Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas. I was in College Station, and we met in college, and we have been friends for a long time. And she graduated, I hadn't yet, and we were texting, and we wanted to meet up, and so we met in Waco, and we went and played the sister course to the Beast, for our first
so
date.
you played
Cameron
it
Park.
together. Okay, that makes more sense.
So we played the course, and then we went and got food after, and then we got engaged at Audubon Park in Dallas.
Wait, I played there.
It was essentially, yeah. So it was like, I was like, hey, can you help me with this video? I want to, like, I don't know, teach a beginner how to throw a disc or something. And she's like, okay, yeah, I'll help you out. And so we went to the course. And so I was trying to get like a sneaky way to have us both mic'd up and film it. And so I proposed on like hole 7, and it's all teary eye and bleary and mushy. That video will never see the public. That's for my eyes only.
What?
That's cute, man.
I want to watch it. No, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's awesome.
So
Audubon.
vulnerable.
That's like I played there. So that was
Yeah,
really,
if you ever
love
play
that
Audubon,
course.
just
that
think
was a nice course.
Jay Millie got engaged there.
Yeah. As for my wife, I meant girlfriend. She doesn't play. She doesn't really like playing. She's maybe thrown the frisbee a few times and played with me, like maybe twice. I honestly once maybe. But yeah, she doesn't like playing. She likes reading books, and that's about it.
Hey, that's fine.
Great
yeah,
story.
Like, yeah, not everyone has to like be into disc golf or something like that. But I was just curious because
She
I don't think
supports me
we've
though,
ever
so
actually
that's all that
talked about it.
matters.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's touch on Music City a little bit. So we got Eagle McMahon coming back.
Yo.
Ben, are you stoked about this?
Dude, I'm so stoked because I have a bet with Nick Carl that Eagle McMahon will win this season for $20. And I'm excited for him to come back. I'm mostly excited because I just love the way he plays. I think the way he kind of throws is kind of. Hear me out. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah. What do you mean?
This like braggadocious man. That's all I'm trying. I meant the way he throws kind of reminds me of how I throw, but not form wise. That's why I have to like explain it. He's way better, but kind of like that long, huge reach back and ripping it through your chest, as opposed to like AB does that quick boom boom, or like Simon does the kind of holds it closer, doesn't really fully reach back. Eagle has more of kind of like a reaching back and stuff like that, and that's kind of how I do it, where I'm reaching back and kind of holding it there, and then when my foot hits the ground, boom, pulling it through. So that's honestly why I also like seeing Eagle play, because it kind of reminds me of how I would like to play.
So let me get this straight. You're excited to see Eagle McMahon play because he reminds you of what you think you're doing when you throw.
No, what I think I could eventually get to and what I would like to get to. But I'm saying it's more similar. Like your form's more similar to like your elbows are Nicolas Antilla, but
heck yeah, elbows out, baby.
I don't really know what but you like. I hope that's why I wanted to say I wasn't comparing myself. I'm not saying my form is Eagle Man. I'm just saying
I'm just teasing.
I just like enjoy watching him because I think the way he throws is kind of what I can understand the best, if that makes sense. Where some people throw, I don't really understand how they throw. Eagle, I can watch and be like, oh yeah, like hopefully I can get to this level, and it makes sense to me how he's reaching back and ripping through and stuff like that. So that's all.
I have a crazy Eagle story real quick from Colorado.
Please.
When I was out there for Trash Panda, helping them or making my video and helping them film some content, Jesse and I went and played around at this course called Owl's Nest on a Thursday at like 10 a.m. And this was 2 weeks ago, I believe, right before Texas State's. And Thursday, 10 a.m., we pull up, not a soul. And Jesse's like, yeah, I picked this course because there's not a single person who ever comes and plays here. So we were playing and like filming a video for his channel. And then like 15 minutes later, everyone starts coming.
You're like
just so many people.
You hear it in the background.
No, it wasn't even Eagle.
A
bunch of people start coming, and it's because there was random draw doubles that had gotten moved there for some reason, and it just started getting flooded. And so we were like, what the heck? And so we started playing, but there was just people everywhere, and we were like, this stinks. And so then we get to like whole like it might have been the third or fourth hole, and we're walking past the first tee, and we look to our right, and there's Ratana, Eagle, and Colradolin just like warming up, throwing shots. And freaking Jesse points at Eagle and is like, oh, dude, look, there's Eagle over there. And I was like, nah, you're just kidding. I know he lives in Colorado. And I was like, you're just messing with me. And he's like, no, I'm serious. I look over there. It's all three of them. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, dude, is this common? Do you just run into him all the time? And he's like, this is the first time I have ever run into Eagle in Colorado. And this is my first time ever playing in Colorado. And I was just like, oh, what the heck? What are the freaking odds? And then like 5 or 6 holes in, they end up catching up to us. And so we play like 5 or 6 holes with them. So we played just randomly with Colradolin, Eagle, and Ratana. And it was crazy. I was not expecting that to happen, but it did.
Do Eagle and Jesse know each other? Did they know each other? Or was
it they had met once.
Okay.
They had met once. And so we were like playing pretty slow, and they ended up catching up to us, and Eagle walked up and was like, Jesse. And then it was like they were boys. So it was cool.
That is cool. I was just making sure. World. I was like, I feel like they should know each other.
Yeah. I imagine there's no better way to feel like a tiny baby boy than to watch Eagle McMahon throw in person. You're like, okay, dude, well, I'm not going to throw now.
The thing is, dude, I was kind of expecting him to seem like he was throwing hard. Like, I don't know, like grunt or like seem like he's moving so fast. His form looks slower than mine, and he was throwing double the distance.
Yeah.
He literally
That's how
looked
he does it,
like it's insane. Like, I was just like, that's annoying. I was like, I wanted to see you throw and be like, oh, okay, like I need to get there. No, it looked like how I feel like my form looks, but he just throws 800 feet. And I was like, dang it, man. That is the most demeaning thing, too.
Dude.
And then
And that,
freaking Cole Redolin was also just absolutely
yeah,
ripping
he
as
rips.
well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it
But
was a sad day for Jay Millie.
now you know that's why I like. You explained it perfectly. That's why I love watching Eagle. I just think how smooth his form, how he can rip it so fast. That's what I would aspire to be. Like if I could model any pro's form, after it would be Eagles. I don't really know if I've modeled my form after really anyone. It's kind of like a mixture of just like learning tips, like you guys were talking about. But if I could, if like some genie was like, who would you like to throw? Like I'd be like Eagle. So I guess that's also why I like watching, just because it's just very beautiful, smooth, yet powerful. Like the reason he's throwing super slow, but it's like 83 miles per hour, and I've witnessed it in person, of someone, measuring his throws at Worlds last year, and
Yeah, crazy.
he was thwapping it. So, that's why I like watching Eagle. I just, that's all. I just wanted to give that caveat because off the bat, I know it sounded like, he reminds me of me, but on
All good, all good.
me and my form. But no, I was just saying what I hope my form would be, and kind of we have like the long. I feel like I have a pretty long kind of reaching back, and boom, there you go.
So do you want to give picks for this upcoming week, or do you want to dive into like a viewer submitted question?
No, yeah,
Let's give picks really
we
quick.
should, because
Okay.
even though we're gone, I do want to like also touch on Pro Tour and what's going on, because I think that that's what a lot of people do care about.
Yeah.
So it's
Ultimately,
like
that's
if we
what's like driving a lot.
yeah, so if we can just encapsulate all aspects of disc golf, but that's why we gave the caveat on the first episode. Like we are gonna cover it, but if we go on a rant about Eagle McMahon's form, whatever, doesn't matter. Like
He said we.
it doesn't matter.
Get
We're
wrecked.
gonna do it. But yeah, I definitely do want to at least touch on Music City for the fans, if we're their only source of DGPT news.
Who you got for your picks?
Well, Simon won last year. What I have for my picks, I picked Gannon Burr. He was so close to winning last year, and he's just been on an absolute tear. I wouldn't be surprised. And I picked Holland Hanley. No real reason for the Holland Hanley pick, other than, well, I guess
She's just
here's the
consistent.
reason. Yeah, I guess here's the reason. She came in second last week at Jonesboro, and I think like she's gonna be a star. And if she isn't already one, I mean, in my eyes, she's a star. But I think she's gonna be the consistent like one to beat, other than Kristen. There's a few girls that like Ella Hansen, Owen, Holland Hanley, Missy Gannon are all, to me, I think, people that are either the ones to be already or going to be consistently at the top. So I'm going with Holland Hanley just because I think she can pull it off.
Cool. I was very inspired by Chris Dickerson this past weekend. Just seeing him come out of nowhere, and then I think he tied for 7th. So
Yeah.
feeling really good about him at Music City.
And he's
And
won it
then-
like a million times.
Exactly. And then I also
Pretty
just
sure.
want to go Evelina. Just want to go Evelina. I mean, she just
gonna be
blasting
my
all over the
pick.
place. Heyo. And I just love watching her play. Josh?
Yeah, I'll stick with the Evelina pick on the FPO side, but I'm gonna give. I don't know. I guess I should only make one pick. For some reason, I'm just feeling Adam Hammis. For some reason, I don't
Ooh.
know. I don't know why. He had that hot round 3. He had a not great round 1 and round 2, but hot round 3. He's gonna ride that into Music City Open, and then him and Mason Ford are gonna go into a playoff, and he's gonna take it down.
And then they're going to be happy
Yep.
and live
Cool.
happily ever after.
Yeah. Okay, I got one question here for you guys. We did get a few, but we'll just do one for today. So Brixton Disc Golf ended up asking us,
Hey!
yeah, If you grouped the players by the letter their first name begins with, which letter wins? I have 2 letters in mind. Did you
What
guys
does
have
that
anything?
mean? What does that mean?
So of all the players, this is what I'm thinking. So the letter N, you could do like all the Nathans. Like I made a joke about it in my YouTube video. So you've got
Nathan Queen.
Nate Doss, Nathan Queen. You've got Nate Sexton, Nate Perkins. So that's a pretty baller team. Or if you go with, the joke this past week was the Paul card. So you've got Paul Macbeth, you got Paul Ulibarri, Paul Oman, and then shout out Paul Kranz as well.
Yeah.
Any other ones that stick out to you guys?
I'm pretty sure I already know my. Let me just do some quick research. And yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm going with the A's.
I was going to go A's. Dang, dude.
Because
I was going to say we should say them at the same time.
Darn. Sorry, man. The C's are looking
Wait, did you
good
just
too.
like look up your answer before you answered?
No, well, I just wanted to make sure, there's a good amount of A's, like Aaron Gossage, Adam Hammes, Albert Tom, Alden Harris,
Anthony Barella.
Austin Turner.
Yeah, never mind. I lose.
Yeah, A is the move, man.
What did you choose?
I think I just went with
P?
N. I got it for Nathan.
What?
Nate.
Look, man, that's
His
solid.
boys.
There's some
Niklas, I
world champs in
guess.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about legacy, it would make sense. But as of right now, you got Niklas.
When I'm on the tour, the Jays will be up there, guys.
Yeah, dude.
JK.
Jay's making a comeback.
Joel
Sweet.
There's
Freeman.
some solid Jays.
Yeah, there is.
Do you guys have any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
No, excited for the weekend. Excited for Music City Open. As always, and I'm just excited to all around watch disc golf and yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Loving the
Cool.
podcast.
Yeah.
And we
Thank
hope
you guys.
you're loving it too. as in the
Absolutely.
fans.
Make sure to leave us 5-star reviews on all the things.
Yeah, only
Yes.
5 stars. Nothing else.
Yeah, or else.
Yeah. We thank you
Not allowed
guys.
to be honest.
We thank you guys for checking out the podcast. We appreciate you giving us your time because, like I said at the beginning, you could be checking out anything. Do all the good things, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at FunsiePod. Peace.
Adios, boys.
Oh, I wasn't
Funsie.
expecting the outro
Funsie.
to be that quick.
Oh, wait, what's the actual outro?
That's
Do we
it.
have one?
I
Is
just
there one
did it-
established?
No, we don't. Maybe we gotta work on one. I wasn't ready on the button. All right, ready?
Yeah.
We should just say Funsie 3 at the time. 3, 2, 1. Funsie.